Hi there, welcome back to Owl Dragon Adventures. I'm Scott Kegler.
And I'm Rob McPherson.
And today we're doing a quick review of a little game I picked up recently, Jekyll vs. Hyde by Mandoo Games, designed by Vincent Dutrait. And I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly, but let's get into it. So Jekyll vs. Hyde is as I mentioned, a small box game. It is actually a trick-taking game for 2 players. I am very excited to talk about this game. It was something I'd seen a little bit of conversation about. It came out, and I am the king of impulse buys on new board games. So
that is accurate.
I picked it up. It's a pretty good price point. I think retail it's like $25. I think most sites I've seen it though, it's like right now, or it's been on sale
for $20, $15,
like $20 in that range. So, but still, even at $25, it's a really good price game. Essentially, you are playing as the inner turmoil, playing out the inner turmoil of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. One player being Dr. Jekyll, one player being Mr. Hyde. You set out a board here for the two of you to play, and you start off on the Jekyll side. And essentially, as the tricks are being played in this trick-taking game, you are trying to... one player is trying to keep the metal token from arriving to the Hyde side, and Hyde is trying to get it to end here and over the course of 3 rounds. Like any good trick-taking game, it's a card-based game. You play 10 tricks per round over those 3 rounds to try to move the token at the end of each round. And the way it's moved is interesting, is based on the tricks after a round, you look at the difference, and the difference there of wins and losses between the 2 players is how far the token is going to move. So Dr. Jekyll wants there to be as close of a win-loss ratio between the 2 players.
He's always seeking balance in life.
Yeah, so he wants the balance. So if we're 6 and 4, it's only a difference of 2. The token only moves 2 spaces, which is not a lot of economy when you have to move 10 spaces to win. Hyde wants that big difference. He wants chaos. So he wants to either win or lose a lot, which makes it a very interesting game as the player, as Mr. Hyde. So there's 2 strategies. If you're losing, just double down and keep losing.
Right.
And that's not uncommon in trick-taking games, but what I like is there's also these potion tokens as well in the gameplay that
throw a wrench into the work every once in a while.
Yeah, they add some other actions you can take in the game, and they also help to rank the suits in the game. So there are 3 suits by color. It's green, purple, and red, and that also has an impact on the game.
So let's get into the 5-point.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, the gameplay is excellent. For a trick-taking game, this is, if I had a higher score than High, I would give it to it. I really enjoy this. I like trick-taking games. They're quick and light and easy. This is no exception in that, but it is, I just like that it's asymmetrical. I'm a sucker for that. Like, I like to have 2 different strategies on the board in each game.
So yeah, I got to give it a high as well. I'm right on board with Scott on this one. And actually, you mentioned something that made me realize why I like it so much. I'm not huge into trick-taking games usually. Like, I enjoy them and I'll play them, but for some reason, this one keeps coming to the table, and it's the asymmetric aspect.
Yeah.
That adds enough intrigue for me that there'll be times when Scott and I are just talking, and all of a sudden I'll just be laying it out on the board. He's like, "Oh, okay, I guess we're playing."
Yeah, it's just fun. Like, I mean, it's fun both. I've enjoyed playing Dr. Jekyll, and I've enjoyed playing Hyde.
And I've enjoyed playing Dr. Jekyll when I'm supposed to be playing Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, you got to be careful which strategy you're playing. But very high.
Killer round.
Yeah, very very high for me on gameplay. Next, as far as accessibility. It's actually a pretty easy game to teach. There are a couple little nuances, particularly with the potions, and somebody that maybe doesn't play a lot of trick-taking games, understanding that it's not just the numbers we're playing, it's the suits, and those are higher than the numbers in the game. But honestly, once you learn it, if you play a lot of card games, which is why actually I think this is a good entry-level game. If you have a friend that doesn't play a lot of other board games but likes to play, will play a card game while hanging out, this is like a nice transition game to get them into the hobby.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of those games that it's the 30 seconds to teach, couple hours to master type of game. So accessibility, I'm going to give it a high personally, because I think you can toss this in front of pretty much anybody. They might not really understand the intricacies of it right off the bat, but they're going to be able to play, and they're going to enjoy the playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think because I think we agreed that you could argue that Jekyll is easier to learn maybe at first.
Yeah.
And Hyde is a little bit more nuanced. So you could have a player that starts off and learns. You could play the more difficult one as you're teaching it as well.
Sure.
Or have two players that maybe this player jumps into games more easily than the other. A lot of versatility there. So I like that. So high for accessibility.
Yep.
As far as design, for a small box game, I think they really made a lot out of it. Like, I love the art. I love the silhouettes on the cards. I like the color choices are very vibrant. They could have gone with something kind of more dour, but it's got this kind of fun, I don't know how I would put it, like kind of like steampunky sci-fi feel. Like
it's very comic book.
That's a good way of putting it. Very pulpy.
Yes.
I really enjoy all the art on the cards is very nice. Beautiful game. I really like that even with the meatball itself, their little token here we use for the game here.
Fight back and forth.
Is actually cut for both. It's like there's a side that is done for Jekyll and for Hyde. I just really like that design choice overall in the game. And there's not more components than you need to play. It's perfect. It's not overly fiddly. It's just right.
They did a great job with the iconography, like on the potion tokens here. You can see right here. It's like, okay, we trade 2 cards.
Right.
So, or this one, okay. The victor steals a trick. Or, okay, this one's very clearly, we get rid of all the potions off the board. So really, definitely a high for design for me.
As far as quality, the components are all good. Actually, we had said this when we were, not a lot of shuffling in the game, but there is some. The card quality is excellent. It's like it's a linen card. It is very easy to shuffle. They are very, you don't have to really work them in all that much when you start the game.
I like that they're a thinner linen card too.
Yeah.
So a lot of games I've seen have the really thick linen cards, which are great. But when you need to do a riffle shuffle every 5 seconds, it's less great because you've got a permanent bend to the cards, and you're starting to see a little bit of a bend. But the thinner cards let them bounce back easier. Yeah. So it was a good choice.
And I mean, things like this, just like the fact that this is metal is really nice. Like, that's a great quality. The board is fine for for a quality. It's not. It could have just been like a thin paper that folded. They done with it, so it is nice cardboard. Yep. So I have no complaints from quality. The rule book, and I should have mentioned this on accessibility, is actually pretty nice and light and easy. Has what we want to see. Has good photos of all the components of the game. Very easy.
Of them.
You can tell I'm gushing over this game. I really enjoyed this. This was one of these. I didn't know much about it. Picked it up and just
the theme just drew us in immediately. Jekyll versus Hyde kind of hits both of us. We really enjoyed the story. We really enjoyed the characters. There's a lot of gameplay potential in the characters.
Especially just having that, rather than having it like an Unmatched where it's like this presence on the board that everyone's afraid of. It's really fun playing the two.
The inner turmoil.
Yeah,
and I think both of us as actors kind of that as well.
It was fun. And then finally for me it is value, and it's just a high for me because I only paid $20 for the game and I've played
already gotten the money's worth.
Yeah, I've played it so many times, and it's one of these games I could get bored of it, but I can see myself coming back to it because it's a 20-minute game. This is the great game when you're waiting for your game night or D&D night to your first player shows up. You're like, hey, we can crank this out in 20 minutes. Probably 2 games before anybody gets here. Fantastic in that regard. So I really think there's going to be a lot of value. The components are good quality, so it's going to last. Highly recommended if you're looking for a quick pre-game night, post-game night. Like, it's just a couple of you hanging out.
Yeah, this is definitely one that's going to show up on my shelf in the very near future. I've only been able to hold off as long as I have just because I come over here and I play it as much as I do. So definitely high for me on the value. I think that it's going to more than pay for itself over time.
And I think we put this on our stocking stuffer list, or
no, we didn't have it. Or did it get there at the last minute? I don't remember. But you can check out our stocking stuffer list and figure out if we put it on there. If it's not on that list, this is going to be an honorable mention and definitely something.
Yeah, I would definitely like if you were looking for a stocking stuffer board game, it would fit perfectly, and it is an excellent game to choose for that for your game, a board gamer in your life, or just someone that likes card games. But that is Jekyll and Hyde by Mandoo Games. It is going to be for me. My final ranking on this is actually going to be a 5 out of 5 right now.
Yeah.
I will see how I feel about it at a later date, but right now it's just I'm having so much fun with it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to agree. 5 out of 5 for me. It doesn't mean that it's the absolute perfect game of all time.
No, yeah.
However, it's
for what
it
is.
scratches all the itches that I need.
Yeah, it's perfect for what the game it is meant to be. But
yeah, excellent game.
So thank you very much, and so hope you enjoyed this, and we'll have a link to our socials here in the video description. But we wish you luck on all of your future board game adventures.
And thank you for joining us on ours.